Okay, good morning. Good morning to all in the room. Thank you for being here so early. It's not so early, but after a gala dinner, it is early, right? So only the braves are in the room, and the room is not empty, so this means that we do have brave people in EC2U. We knew this already, but another demonstration another proof of this. So I'm very happy to welcome you. We will be actually a duo doing this moderation of the Joint Virtual Institute session. This is actually, we were saying we are already a bit sad because this is already the last day of the EC2U forum, but let's enjoy the day and we'll cry tonight. Huh? Let's, one step at a time. So we still continue to be happy, and tonight will be sad. So I'm Ludovic Tilly, the Coordinator General, and this session will be moderated together with Alberta Bonanni, with the Vice Rector for Research and International Affairs here at JKU. It's a real pleasure to welcome you, in particular in this session, because the virtual institutes are one of the many innovations that we launched already during the pilot phase. Basically during the period 2020 until last year, 2023. And because they were very successful, not only we've decided to continue those virtual institutes, and of course you are all like asking yourself, what are those virtual institutes? Some of you clearly do already know, but the idea is to use this session today to tell you more about these virtual institutes. But yeah, actually, as I was saying, this was a very successful initiative, and we've decided to not only continue, but to expand it. And this is what we will present to you in this first part, the plenary part of this morning session. And then at 10, there will be actually parallel sessions where the initial virtual institutes, so clearly the ones that are at full speed now, they will have their own individual sessions where they can go more in depth into what they are doing. So we have a set of slides that we will present to you together with Alberta. First, maybe to explain to everyone what are those virtual institutes. So as we wait for the slides, yes, thank you very much. So, well, I don't have, hopefully, to remind you what means EC2U, European Campus of City Universities. It's also good to remember that in the new phase, we like to use the same acronym for these: Empower, Connect, Collaborate, and Unite. And the joint virtual institutes are really embodying this motto. So, where did we all start? And actually what you see in this slide is really something that is now, I would say, already a bit old, because this is something that we used in 2018 and 19 to prepare the foundations of the EC2U Alliance. So that slide demands a bit of an explanation. First, what you see here is what we call the wheel of science. The Wheel of Science is something that some publishers, in particular Elsevier, have developed already for some time. I would say probably now 5 to 6, 7 years ago. And this is a way to see in a sort of an easy way what are the research activities for instance, an institution, a university. So maybe I should already sort of introduce a disclaimer, which is that, as you will all understand, because these informations, these data come from 18, 19, and 2020, we are at this point only seeing the 7 initial universities of the EC2U Alliance. Of course, now we would introduce as well a Wheel of Science for JKU, and very soon we could do the same exercise for the 9th full partner. But again, we are sort of taking a step back today, looking a little bit backward, and then of course we'll continue to move forward, but just so that we understand where we come from. So again, in 1819, when we started to prepare the foundations of the EC2U Alliance, we, from the beginning, considered that it was important to make sure that the EC2U Alliance is based on education, of course, but above all on cooperation in research. So if we want to do that, we have to know exactly what are we, each institutions, doing in research. So again, we went to this concept of the wheel of science. For each of the institutions, so you see the 7 initial EC2U universities, you see this circle, and in the circles you see those dots, right, which have a color, and the color refers to the official catalog of disciplines that we can now find everywhere in the different contexts. And so the color tells about the discipline, research discipline, and the size of the dot is proportional to the number of publications, right? And we did this in cooperation actually with Elsevier at that time, and we did this actually for the period 2009-2018. So this corresponds to 10 years of research publications, okay? And what is very striking, and I should say that again, if we were to add today JKU on that slide and a potential 9th full partner, we would see exactly the same, also for JKU, for instance. What we see is that first, we see all the colors. For each institution, we see all the colors. And this reflects the fact that we are indeed, each of us, a comprehensive university. We may have a few disciplines that are not represented here and there, but globally speaking, we see the full wheel populated, if I may say. And so all the disciplines, a lot of dots, and some of them being very big. So we see that not only the universities are looking alike in terms of publications, but also they have some sort of prominent topics, and some of them are slightly different depending on the universities, which is, or we like to say, this is then the sign that we are very complementary in the alliance. So this is, I think in total it corresponds to, over the 10 years, in total, more than 250,000 articles. So the capacity of publication of the EC2 Alliance is very important. I did not add this to the slides, but actually when we applied for the new funding periods, we did a slightly different exercise, which was to really take all the publications of EC2U as a whole and place them for the different topics of the EC2 Alliance with respect to the European Union mean publication rates, and for all the topics we were above. We were also stronger for the internationalization components of research, basically more publications with international partners, including the EC2 partners. So this was the starting point, but we didn't stop here because, of course, the added value of doing such exercises, then you can cross the different data sets and so on. And by doing so, we looked at this, which is basically the crossing of all these 7 individual wheels of science. And what we see here are actually the joint publications between the 7 initial partners over the period 2009-2018. And to our own surprise, we realized that there were, over these 10 years, already more than 1,200 joint publications over 10 years. And there was a diversity of cooperation schemes between, I would say, a classical bilateral research publication between 2 EC2 partners. We also found some publications where there were 5 universities publishing together. So we had clearly already an existing research cooperation, which it was in itself not a surprise, because all our universities were already interacting, for instance, in the context of another network, which is the Coimbra Group, but even more, in research, they were actively cooperating. So it was a good surprise to see that we could really build on something very concrete in terms of research cooperation. And in addition, we could realize, as you probably do yourself, that those research cooperations were clustering around specific topics. And we could identify, let's say, I would not say individual disciplines, but sort of a group of disciplines. One which is around physics and engineering, another cluster of joint publication around energy and environmental sciences, another one on health and biology, and a few also in social science and humanities. And for those who were already there at that time, and this morning we were discussing that we are still a few veterans, we said, well, we know that this pilot phase is going to be very competitive. We will have only 3 years to show our capacity to be a pioneer in higher education and research together. Let's put all our chances on our side, and let's basically start on those existing research cooperation domains. So this is, after looking at this type of data, that we decided to start using a framework which is known by the entire planet now, which is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal Agenda. And we basically cross-matched the type of information in the previous slide with the definition of the UN SDGs. And we said, well, clearly, if we start by working together in the SDG number 3, good health and well-being, there is great potential. Another one will be quality education, to also link with the education component of our universities, but also the SSH in particular. And another one was quite obvious, the sustainable cities and communities. So this is exactly how we started the EC2U Alliance. And we decided to create, and now I come to the topic of today, we decided to create a sort of new concept on how we can work together on those different missions that we have at our universities, education, research, innovation, service to society, into what we called the virtual institutes. And this is now, if I'm not mistaken, that I give you the floor.
Thank you. It's funny. So, good morning, everyone. Nice to see you again. Yes, actually, in this, in this list here, I would change the order actually, because I like to underline that we are a university. So, and we know that we have 3 missions. So our mission is education, research, service to society. I would switch, and then we make innovation and interdisciplinarity. Well, then going to the relation, I would say, between our mission and the global goals. In the last, we are new, so we are looking forward, now to enter this program. The 3 master programs which were developed already in the pilot phase were health and well-being, and this master program deals with prevention, aging, imaging, and imaging of cancer. Then there is quality education, multilinguism and interculturality, and then sustainable cities and community with quality of air and water, energy, public policies. Maybe at the end, since you are here also to know us a bit better, maybe I can spend also a few words on how we could contribute also to the existing programs. Well, maybe I can say immediately what concerns health and well-being. I would say that particularly in imaging and cancer, we can give a strong contribution. Some of you were already yesterday at the medicine faculty. I have to underline that we are kind of original in the Austrian landscape, because in Austria, all the, let's say, what has to do in academia with medicine is collected in universities, so in medical universities. And we are the only university in Austria which has a medicine faculty. Yeah? Our faculty is actually quite new. They celebrated the 10th year recently, a couple of weeks ago, but we are very well inserted in the network of the Austrian universities, and in particular, we are entering now. I would say a network of excellence in cancer research. So this could be interesting also for you and for the, let's say, the next developments of the master programs. What has to do with quality education? You should take into account as I have a trouble with the name of Ludovic because my son has Ludwig, is Ludwig, so I always mix it up with my son, and I get a bit confused. I don't know how to, but you know whom I mean, our boss. Here, you have to take into account that the JKU does not really have a, let's say, humanities section. So in our institutes and in our faculties, I would say that this multilingualism and interculturality are a bit spread. So we don't have a focus faculty or focus institutes and so on. What has to do with sustainable cities and communities? We have a very strong Institute of Energy. This is kind of an associated institute to JKU, but they are very strong also in European projects. So I would say that this is also a good basis for future collaborations. And in addition, we just I don't know whether you know it, but we just signed this is actually a PhD, a common PhD program with a Center of Excellence on Water Research in Holland, in Netherlands. Yeah, this is a extremely good networked center. We don't have at JKU, again, a specific institute or a specific faculty dealing with research on water, but again, many of our institutes in physics, in chemistry, but also social sciences and so on, have to do something with water. And we are now associated with this Center of Excellence, and this could be also something which could contribute also to enrich also the EC2U. This was what I wanted to say. So the virtual institutes have the goal of organizing summer schools and joint PhD trainings. I have to say, concerning schools, we have a long tradition, particularly in physics. Since many years, we organize an extremely successful winter school, actually. Yeah? So I would propose not only summer schools, but also winter schools. Yeah? So all of you can learn how to ski and so on and so on. Yeah? And by the way, many of you know already that I have a dream. In my to-do list in my life, there is this thing of seeing the northern lights from the earth. Yeah. So the fact that we have Finland and maybe the next partner that would be fantastic also with this winter story. So joint research programs, and I would say, I hope not only for myself, but for everyone, that in this next phase we go also, I mean, the focus goes also, more and more, on research involving the young people, mobility programs and joint PhD thesis. So these are the three global goals that we are for the moment, which were for the moment developed, and now we will have the presentations of Daniela, Rebecca, and Marco concerning the 3 work packages from which we the master program were developed, and as already anticipated, the idea is to go to a fourth, to develop a master program based on the fourth global global goal, yeah, which has to do with peace and justice. And now I would call Daniela to the stage to speak about work package 4, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And this one, yeah. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, we are here to share our past, current, and future wanted experiences in this work package for good health and well-being. Everything for good health and well-being. I've been presented, so there's no need to state my name once more. By the way, I'm presenting here the activities performed by all of our colleagues involved in Work Package 4 and local coordinators and global coordination team, and not only by one person, and professors involved in the master program. So, as you know, the focus is on this white heart on the very green field. And we will give the color to this heart by our activities. You know that we work on education, research, services to society from an interdisciplinary perspective, and we want to have innovation everywhere in these 3 dimensions. In the first phase, in the pilot phase, the Virtual Institute for Good Health and Well-Being was supported by 3 pillars: education, by Literacy Lab, research, by a transformative research hub, and services to campus, to the communities, first the university community and then the city. And of course, the Lifeline Master Program. Very short, what have we succeed on research, for instance? From over 200 research topics stated by our colleagues from the EC2U universities, we synthesized these 20 topics, which we will keep on the consolidation phase and maybe enlarge. A second success story for this transformative research hub was based on surveys in all of our cities, and 2 guidelines for local authorities have been routed. The activity has been co-coordinated by our colleagues from Coimbra University, Professor Ana Santana and Ricardo Almendra, and also one of the PhD students involved, Angela Freitas, to spell it right. We've also tried with Vice Rector of Poitiers University these co-hotels, and in Glade Virtual Institute there are already 3 co-hotels. On the Glade Literacy Lab, there were 7 itinerant conferences, among other local conferences and inter-university seminars. 3 summer schools, one in Iași, focused on smart aging and healthy life. We've done it in 2021, courageous. A second one was held in Pavia in 22, focused on transgenerational aging and gendered life cycle approach. And of course, we went back to our communities, to the health in the university campuses and in the cities with a summer school held in Jena in May last year. For the public, because our interest is to reach our communities around us, geographical communities around us, but also global communities, we worked on a very short, very concentrated movies focused on health and well-being. And they are freely accessible on the YouTube channel of EC2U on using Glade keyword. And each of our university perform and record this type of movie. For the management services for a healthy campus, we were lucky to transfer good practice developed in Jena University, studying health among the students and the staff. We started by translated this survey in some of our universities, and we also went to support services for students and for the staff interacting with students. This topic started in Jena University under the coordination of Professor Rudiger Trimpop, and the PhD student Lena Schmitz helped, and she's also in the consolidation phase in our team, both actually. For the Lifeline Master Program, very interesting, challenging, innovative, covering all the corners of Knowledge Square. I would say we succeeded. The master program is accredited in 5 of our countries. And I will show you at the end of the presentation, we already have the first graduates this year. So what is the legacy of pilot phase from GLADE Virtual Institute? We wrote some open access articles, those short movies. Summer school presentations are freely available on the GLADE Virtual Institute website. Conferences, research topics, new projects, doctoral co-tutel, many shared experiences, a lovely network, and also plenty of lifeline lessons. For the consolidation phase, we would like to focus more on our communities and to invest more in attracting our partners, existing partners, local partners, but also the associated partners from the project. There are listed the partners from Iași University, but we aim to closely co-create, co-share, co-working with all of our associate partners. And thanks to the innovative way of running the plenary council, we have at the moment feedback and interest from some of our associate partners for many of the actions associated with the activities in the second phase. We are not looking on, we are not relying only on the others' help, but this is a fresh meeting organized last week with one of our associate partners, a company called Antibiotice from Iași. And I would also like to mention the successful meeting we had yesterday with the Faculty of Medicine of our host university. And I will share the plans. I hope the plans will be obvious in a short time. We planned meetings and common activities. So in the consolidation phase, we kept the pillars, educational hub, but for the research, we want to be more concrete and active, and as the other work packages, we started already the PhD network and continue the involvement in the healthy campus. At the beginning of September, we had very vivid, intensive sensing intensive meeting in Iași, working on all the activities and plans in the work package 4. For the educational hub, each university has to organize in local languages at least 3 workshops addressed, one to students, one to staff, administrative or teaching staff, and one to the city, the community, either schools, either hospital either hospitals, either public administration. This is an image with breathing exercises we had in Yash last week. PhD network. Near summer school, we've already launched with the help of our colleagues from Coimbra University, mostly of Ricardo Almendra. We launched at the end of June the PhD network of our institute on good health and well-being. It was very vivid activity and useful. And at the moment, we plan to organize this PhD network with supervisors, and we really ask for co-frame help for this PhD network. We need a staff representative and 2 PhD students from each university in order to start to organize transfer events and also workshops, annual workshops, and the final interdisciplinary conference. We will continue the topic of the healthy campus with Lena's help and our colleague help. And these are the photos of our first Lifeline generation. And allow me now to, we work on a special scarf for that. I'm gonna wear now one. And yeah, allow me to offer one to Ludovic, who greatly supported all of our activities. Thank you. And to our host, hoping to have the Linz team as soon as possible. As you see, we have your logo here. So yeah, so we trust in your interest for that. And to the Master Task Force coordinator, Professor Antonella Forlino from Pavia University, Italy. Thank you. Thank you very much. And that's it from VP4. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniela. And now we can move to Rebecca. She will speak about the connection between the master program and work package 5.
You need 2 heads.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Rebecca Hernandez from the University of Salamanca, and I am representing Vice Rector Raúl Sánchez Prieto, who wasn't able to be here today with us due to other commitments. And well, I'm going to talk to you about the Virtual Institute for Quality Education. And this virtual institute is focused on modern languages, and it is led by the University of Salamanca. And this virtual institute will undertake several significant activities over the coming years, which I'll present to you right now. All of these initiatives aim to promote multilingualism, cultural diversity, and also education for sustainable development within higher education institutions. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about the research conferences that are programmed for the next years. I'm going to start with a previous one, actually, that took place just a month ago in Poitiers, and which was a great success. This was the first of our key events. It was a conference titled Multilingualism, Cultural Diversity, and Education for Sustainable Development in Higher Education. It was organized by Professor Freiderikos Valetopoulos. And in this conference, the main focus, this conference revolved around the way in how foreign foreign languages, including lesser used languages, because lesser used languages and invisibilized languages are also a main focus in this virtual institute. How these foreign languages and lesser used languages are represented in education. And it was also discussed in this conference how to implement effective and inclusive teaching methods. So the main focus was on how multilingualism supports sustainable development in higher education settings. The next conference, research conference organized, will take place in 2026, also in the University of Poitiers, and it will have as a main topic the cultural biases and stereotypes in online and offline communication for sustainable development in higher education. This research conference will have as a main objective to identify and analyze different forms of cultural biases, particularly those that can be seen and can be found in social media and also in print texts connected to universities. This conference will have an interdisciplinary approach, and it will integrate perspectives from different subjects such as psychology, linguistics, cultural studies, educational sciences, or literature, for example. The following year, in 2027, the research conference that is planned will take place in Coimbra, in the University of Coimbra, and it will bring all these themes that have been discussed in the previous conference. We'll bring these themes together in this common conference, and it will synthesize insights from the both previous events. And this will be, for sure, a very important moment to share findings and to foster deeper discussions across disciplines. Another strong point in our virtual institute are the workshops. In fact, we have several workshops planned for the following years. The next one will take place next year in the University of Turku. It will be a very exciting and thrilling event, as the University of Turku will welcome the Virtual Institute on Quality Education PhD Network Young Researchers Workshop. This event will make possible for early career researchers to share their experiences and their works on topics related to language and also to cultural diversity. And they will be able also to build networks, and this workshop is in fact one of the major deliverables for the project. In 2025 also, and here in Linz, there will take place a workshop on educational sciences. This workshop will have a special focus on how languages and cultures intersect with other fields of study. Especially, it will take profit of all the methodologies, approaches that are being studied and developed here in the University of Linz in JKU. And this workshop then will reflect on the realities of multilingual multicultural classrooms, which is very, very important in the EC2U context, and which is also directly related with the master that also has its roots in this working package 5 and with this virtual institute. And in the following year, in 2026, the workshop that is planned will take place in the University of Jena. And Jena will organize a workshop on language and cultural diversity in European society. This workshop will have as its main objective the way in which language shapes the understanding, our understanding of cultural diversity, and it will also have a practical focus on strategies that promote inclusivity across the societies in Europe. Another initiative, which is one of the most exciting ones for us, is the traveling exhibition. And this traveling exhibition will focus on invisible and invisibilized languages in the geographies of the EC2U universities. This exhibition will travel through the EC2U geographical space. It will travel to each of the 9 cities where the University of the Alliance are, and they will show and they will showcase different examples of languages that are lesser known and that are invisibilized in some ways within these communities. One of the main goals of this exhibition is to celebrate linguistic diversity, which is a very strong point in not only in this virtual institute, but also for the Alliance. And also another of the main objectives is to challenge the marginalization of these languages and putting them in the spotlight. And finally, there are also some hybrid open lecturers planned. And these hybrid open lectures will take place in each EC2U university. They will have a hybrid format. They will allow for in-person and also for online participation, and the focus of these hybrid open lectures, will be cultural biases and stereotypes. So these hybrid open lectures will also bring together another of the interests of this virtual institute, and interest that has been also and that will be also explored in the initiatives that have been presented before, regarding cultural biases and also stereotypes. And well, in this case, each lecture will be presented in the national language of the respective university, and that way we will ensure that the local community is engaged in these critical discussions. And well, together all of these activities that will take place aim to deepen understanding of linguistic and cultural diversity, and also to address educational inequalities and foster a more inclusive and sustainable future for higher education across Europe. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Rebecca. And now Marco Morandotti will introduce the master program in connection to Work Package 6. And Rebecca, I wanted to say, I don't know whether you are already in contact. We have an institute here at JKU dealing with robotics, artificial intelligence, and psychology. Yeah? And they are very active in this bias in online, offline, and so on. Sorry.
So thank you. So I'm really glad to be here to present the initiative of this virtual institute, which is led and coordinated by the University of Coimbra, Professor Manuel Gamero. We decided to select some of the activities that have been developed during the first phase and the last year, just to check, let's say, some of the point that every virtual institute is engaged in. So research and public engagement, and research and didactic activities. So we have decided together with the board to make a selection of the whole activity to go slightly deeper on some of that. Before starting, I will just spend a few seconds remembering the past. Ludovic, you know that we start discussing about the opportunity to build a network of historical cities and historical university. It was in Poitiers, I suppose, 2016, during a Coimbra meeting. And I'm really, every time that I think about that, it's to see how far things were gone was really encouraging for the future. And as research activities, of course, the WP, the Virtual Institute, is by itself really multidisciplinary, transversal. We have inside several scientific fields that cross multiple choices of the dots in the map that you showed in the beginning of the morning. As activity of research, we have selected this sustainable governance workshop, that it was a workshop, but is included in a wider research process led by the University of Salamanca with Pavia and Yash in the field of urban planning from the side of legislation. And so this is just to demonstrate that even if the core topic of the Virtual Institute may be related to hard sciences, there is a huge relevance of social sciences, and this is to demonstrate the transversality of the Virtual Institute, just like many other. But if you feel about the topic and the SDG 11, it really includes several keywords that belong to different disciplines. And it was an activity held in 2024 that is a part of a wider research project that has already produced publication and other scientific product. Then we decided to slightly and quickly present a case study, let's say, of an activity that is related to research but has a focus in public engagement. And it is the leader of the activity is the municipality of Pavia, and the partner are 5 municipalities of the Alliance, and it is an Interreg project. So we decided to apply for a competitive call, and we won. And so it's an example of how Virtual Institute may act as accelerator of other research activities outside, let's say, the EC2U, just like a spin-off of that. And the project was awarded with €1,003,000, and it's a 3 years project. And it is strictly related to digital cultural heritage activities across multiple European regions. And so it's deeply connected with the one of the Virtual Institute core activity, that is cultural heritage preservation and sustainable and innovative approach in cultural heritage preservation. And this is a kind of example of what Virtual Institute can act as an accelerator of further activities of research. And then an example of research and didactic, which is summer school, but this is the 3rd edition of this school, and we also had it in winter, so it is both winter and summer school. And it is managed by the University of Pavia, but with the participation of all the universities of the Alliance, and is something that, again, is connected among research and didactic. And very quickly, I'm not to go too deep in each project, but this, the Charm project, which is the Interreg one, is focused on digitization of cultural heritage, which is one of the topics of the Virtual Institute, and is focused on the relation among innovation in ICT technologies and the valorization of cultural heritage. And we as a work group of this Charm project meet also in this meeting. We will have another meeting every 6 months in the cities that have been engaged, which are Pavia, Coimbra, Poitiers, Yash. and Turku, so it's a partnership. And I want to say that the very beginning of this project was a session along the first summer school that we managed together. So this is how we can demonstrate that it depends on how we manage things to make that happen. In that case, we gave the stage for half a day to the municipality to present their own case studies related to sustainable restoration, and from that very small seed things went on. Of course, there is a research group in the University of Pavia, which is multidisciplinary by itself, that I manage, coming from building technologies, cultural history of architecture, restoration, survey. So these are the skills that has been used. And the thing that I would like to stress that this is not a horizon project. This is not focused on research, but it is focused on defining guidelines for definition of advanced policy instruments. So it's completely devoted to society and municipalities. And I think that this is one of the main aim of the Alliance, to join universities and cities. And so this is an experiment, of course. We are selecting case studies and best practice for every municipalities. As you see, there are really a huge amount of connection among the practices that the municipality chose that will be focused for and deepened for during the project, and several ways that we can use ICT technologies for the valorization of cultural heritage, for tourism. So this is a multi-scale and multi-level project that can be, again, a starting point for further research activities. So I really believe in this kind of circularity of activities that can contaminate each other. And for example, this is one of the case studies or the best practice that we are going to share during this Interreg project. This is focused on virtualization of cultural heritage in Pavia. Of course, I'm not going deep in the technicalities, but just to say that we are studying several ways in which we can take advantage of the technology in an integrated approach. And this, Ludovic, is for you, because this is taken by the church, in which the analog surveys were made by an architect whose archive is in Poitiers. So this is something related to the virtual reconstruction of pieces of architecture that has been lost and damaged during here. And if you scan this code, you will find a virtual reconstruction on one piece of this facade modeled with laser scanning, virtual reality, augmented reality, and so on. But the point is that ICT is a tool. So which was the meaning was to share information with a wider audience and use it for the valorization of the cultural heritage, and not just for its preservation. Again, some example driven by the municipality of Pavia. And so this is an example of how research and public engagement can go through the cities and come back to the research itself. Very quickly, this summer school, it has been held in September. It's really multidisciplinary group made of 35 students selected among 76 applications from the Alliance. For the Alliance, topic was sustainable reuse of an existing building. The point is how to manage a class in which we have engineer, architect, psychologist, physician, economic students, and so on. So we divided the project into keywords that are more or less WPs and asked them to rearrange on that topic according to their own skills and backgrounds. So they managed by themselves to work together in a cooperative way, and in a week they produced a really huge amount of work. I do not have time to show you in detail, but the engagement in that case was guaranteed by the fact that everybody gave his own contribution in a cooperative way, which is something that I think we are also focusing in the masters. I mean, transversality is a strength point, but also a weakness if you cannot manage properly. And I have to say that according to the final result given by the students, I'm skipping the presentation, of course, because we have 10 minutes and not a couple of hours, but unfortunately. But I think that the quality satisfaction was quite good. 94% of good result, I think it's acceptable. And this was taken by the comments of the students. So diversity of participant profile is something that has been enjoyed, interact with individuals from different professional backgrounds. And so this is a challenge that I think is up on us as a EC2U Alliance to manage diversity, multicultural scale, and give the students, if we consider them as a focus, a challenge to compete in the nowadays society, which asks this kind of task, but we have to be able to take advantage of them diversity and, of course, using the tools that we develop as a research. So thank you for your time, and I hope to be in time.
Many thanks, Marco. And you know, I don't know, I'm very self-centered at the moment, but I'm trying to find also the connections. And I see also, Marco, if you're planning to continue, and you are planning to continue, I think we can give also here a contribution, because we have a very strong artificial intelligence group, yeah, a sensory group. We in the physics, we work also a lot with, well, also with large facilities, synchrotron, CERN and so on, which is also important for heritage. And what I'm planning to do now, actually I'm working on that also, to establish the connection between architects, yeah, not, well, here in Linz, Vienna and Innsbruck, yeah, who are interested, some of them are interested in, for example, how city development are urbanists, yeah, the development of cities and so on and so on. But I think, I don't know, would be fantastic if we could also hear. Sorry, I'm done, yeah, that is over. You do all the rest.
Thank you, thank you. No, as usual, we are always so passionate about what we do that, you know, we should at some point maybe do a full week of just these presentations, but that would be, I don't think, a very good idea. We wanted actually to just exemplify the diversity of activities in this joint virtual institute, because you may have understood that this idea of the virtual institute is really to gather together researchers, teachers, students from different disciplines on a challenge-based approach. And the result is actually that it is indeed flourishing so much that indeed now we need to find a way to maybe be in capacity to show all those ramifications. And then, as you can see, you are also exemplifying this, Alberta, because you immediately think, oh yeah, we have also a colleague working on this and that. So that can grow so much. Now, we have these 3 virtual institutes up and running, but actually we've decided to not stop there. And as you may have heard already, because it was connected to the topic of today, we have already decided to engage into a 4th UN SDG, which is the 16th, Peace, Justice and Strong Institutions. So this one is embedded in the new work plan, and our colleague Ilaria Poggiolini will actually tell us about what is going to happen in the next years when this virtual institute will take off. But actually, I should mention that because there are so many opportunities of cooperation, we've decided to go even further. And what you can see here is a result of another project that was running in parallel to the first phase of the EC2U Alliance that has been actually presented yesterday in a context which was more about the citizen science. It is actually this RI4C2 project, which means Research and Innovation for Cities and Citizens. What you can see here is the result of this project, where we have continued to look into those maps of existing research activities and where we can also connect the dots. And here actually you see the 3 virtual institutes that we already presented to you, the one on good health and well-being, the one on quality education, modern languages, and the one on sustainable cities and communities. But we decided indeed to continue to create new ones. So this is where we see the one on the SDG 16 that Ilaria is going to highlight briefly very soon. We have also identified more cooperation potential in the quality education context, but more on education sciences, and in particular this is also included in the work plan. And for those who know a little bit about the project structure, it is in the work package 3. Of course, if you don't know those work packages, it doesn't say anything. It's actually related to cooperation into innovative pedagogy and digital pedagogy. So directly related into these challenges of modern education, if I may say. We've also seen some potential for cooperation on life on land, which is another UN SDG. And last but not least, we will now start also a cooperation with a new virtual institute on materials and methods for a sustainable future, which is a bit more transversal across different SDGs. So those are just, let's say, at this moment, the concept of this new virtual institute. So now we need to build basically them from the foundations to the roof. But we wanted to use this occasion today to indicate to you that indeed, if you, in your universities, and we are also currently doing continuing the mapping, if and there are actually active researchers on those topics: life on land, materials and methods, education sciences, and of course the one we will have a few highlights in a second. This means now there will be a space for this cooperation. So this is just for those ones, the very, very beginning, but we will all work hard together to give them a reality and flesh around the bones, so that in the future phases of EC2U, we will have more and more of those cooperation spaces where we clearly mix all the missions of the university. So now we will have a highlight from the newborn Virtual Institute on Peace, Justice and Strong Institutions, and Ilaria Poggiolini will be the ambassador.
So we have heard from our colleagues how the previous virtual institutes have developed. I think there are a number of lessons to be learned, of course, and we will learn them. We have learned them, I think. First of all, in choosing SDG 16. Let me say just a few words about that. I think what Ludovic has shown us, the areas of collaboration scientifically that unites our universities, includes, of course, the social sciences, though in a smaller component. The point is that to issues such as those posed by SDG 16 are connected to most things we do every day. So it is not just a matter for international relations specialists or a specialist of peacemaking or peace building or law, scholars working in the area of law and international law. Is issues such as peace, justice, and strong institutions are touching all of us. And in our session yesterday on the think tanks, we've seen exactly that. And I think one of the first things that I would be very keen in is to propose to the board of our work package to continue the work of the think tank, which has been just focusing and relating and connecting society and scholarship on these themes. So this is the relevance for the Alliance, and I think the relevance for our link between university and societies. It's also very important to underline that the inclusion of this particular SDG 16 in the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development connects these issues of peace and justice with inclusion and development. So themes that are becoming, so outside our areas and inside our areas locally and nationally. Other, again, issues that are very relevant for everyday life in our society. Sorry, going the wrong direction. Here I just want to present an idea that will turn into our first conference, common conference of the Virtual Institute on SDG 16 of Work Package 7. I have selected the theme of solidarity because we may all think that we know what I mean, and actually we don't, meaning that solidarity means so many different things, and it's becoming more and more connected with a reflection on themes which are actually of justice, of good government, of inclusion. So we're not really what I just pointing at here, but just showing you that the first step of our Virtual Institute is identifying transversal transversal issues, and which are multidisciplinary, which could be dealt by scholars in all the areas that we are trying to involve, from the political science to law to expert of social issues, of psychology, of the environment, and so on. So to have this first conference will aim at also interacting with, just tell you something that I find very interesting, that the UN have just appointed an independent expert on human rights and international solidarity, which has just reported in July 2024 in the General Assembly. Just to give you a sense, international solidarity is something we need to define, we need to understand, and it could be a very good beginning for our work in Pavia, which is, the conference is going to deal with the question of does international solidarity divide or unite us, history, economic relations, lexicon, the language, passive, active policy of inclusion, and future AI scenarios. So this is just to say that this is our beginning, but it doesn't mean that we will spend, of course, the entire life of our Virtual Institute working on solidarity. What we're going to do, though this is going to be very demanding, clearly, but what we're going to do is to identify themes which could help us to develop a network of research within the Virtual Institute, but also help us to open up to society, help us to work with our local partners, and give us, a standing within the research and outreach activities of the Alliance. Of course, for doing this, we are collaborating with other partners, also within within academia, but also with private partners. And we would love to hear from students. I'm already interacting with the students group within the Alliance because they may have ideas, they may have suggestions of interest within this first area, and also, of course, for the future. So the Virtual Institute is going to report at the next occasion, telling you about what we have done, and the second conference is also planned for 2025 at the end of 2025 in Vienna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So actually, I look at the clock and we are beyond schedule. So the idea is now probably to see if there are some burning questions to our speakers. If you want to know more about some of these virtual institutes, the one existing, if you have also some questions on the future ones, please, we may have 1 minute before we move to the next part. So if there is anything you would like to know. There were many things presented, so I guess now you just need to digest all of this. So now we will actually move to the second part of the morning with the parallel sessions. Adriana, you will explain to us how this will work?
Yes, thank you so much. So for everybody who would be interested in taking part of the workshop of Work Package 4, we stay here in this room. Anybody interested to take part of our package 5 workshop that is in BR3 when you go out here to the left? And everyone interested to take part of work package 6 and the sustainability walk, that's in BR6 right here in front.
So we will maybe just repeat and connect because work package numbers may not be
Right.
So the work package 4, this is good health and well-being, so you stay here. Work package 4, that's quality education, multilingualism, and intercultural studies. That's which room?
That's BR3 when you go out
BR3.
to the left.
And work package 6, that's the topic on sustainable cities and communities. And this is again?
And BR6, which is right when you go out, that's the room right in front.
Yeah. So basically you stay here or you go out and left or you go out and right. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of the morning.